Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. We're talking AFC NFC Championship. This is a viewer question. Which team is more likely to pull an upset, the Bengals or the 49ers? And I've thought about this long and hard, and I'm not trolling the 49ers fans here because I know this page has a lot of them, but I got to go with the Bengals. The first thing is obviously the quarterback situation. Who would you rather go into war with? If your life's on the line, would you rather flip a coin with Burrow or would you rather go with Jimmy G? I think 9 out of 10, 99 out of 100 would go with Joe Burrow. And when I'm looking at this Jamar Chase and Burrow combination, there's something magical. There's something special that you can't quantify with stats, that you can't stop with certain schemes. It's just something that is a dominant force, and it's almost like a force of nature. Now, we know the 49ers, they got a great offense as well. The Bengals got dogs, but the 49ers also got dogs. Like, we know Debo's a beast. We know the rookie running back has had a good season. Trent Williams is one of the best offensive linemen in the league. But one guy no one talks about is Ayuk, and him and Kittle together in the intermediate routes. That's fire. That's tough. That's tough to cover. But when I'm looking at this Cincinnati team, they have a certain amount of soul. They have a certain amount of grit. That win at Tennessee was impressive. And I know we focused on Tennessee choking that game away. And that's fine if we go that avenue. We have to analyze what we see. But the fact that the Bengals allowed 9 sacks, I am not joking, they allowed 9 sacks, and they won a playoff game on the road against the number 1 seed. It's a borderline miracle. Now, does Cinderella strike 2 or 3 times in a row? Not really. But one thing I was really impressed with was this Cincinnati defense just made enough plays. And you look at Bates in the secondary and the Cincinnati secondary, they've gotten beat up the whole year, and then these last 2 weeks they've came to play, and they've played at a pretty high level. And this KC matchup for the Bengals, yes, the Bengals beat them earlier this year. Yes, we know San Fran has been beaten up on the Rams the last 2 or 3 seasons, but I want everyone to just crumble that paper and just throw it off into a corner, stomp it a few times until it dies. When you go to a playoff game, it's a different level of combat. It literally is trench warfare. Every inch blood needs to be shed for it. So I just think going back in the previous games in the regular season doesn't make a damn bit of difference, and it's kind of disrespectful to the playoffs. Like, have we not learned anything from these playoffs? Like, you just can't go back in the regular season and rehash it and say, oh, they beat them 7 straight times, or they beat them 4 out of 5 times. It doesn't make any sort of difference when we're talking the playoffs. And the 49ers, man, the reason why I like the Bengals to pull the upset more than them is I think the 49ers are coming into a bombshell that is peaking in the Los Angeles Rams. Look at Matt Stafford's play. Did we think he was going to peak at this level? Yes, I've picked the Rams ever since the first round of the playoffs. And yes, they've been money picks. But for me, man, I'm even a little bit surprised. On these Rams, we talk about weapons. Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, Higbee. I don't know if there's a nastier threesome in this league at the moment, and Stafford's taking advantage of it. And Cam Akers coming back just gives the Rams enough balance. Now, we know the 49ers are really hard to run the ball against. Really tough, but I think the Rams will be able to keep the run-pass balance. They were able to keep the run-pass balance against Tampa Bay, and Todd Bowles' scheme is very, very good at stopping the run. One team that I think is vulnerable against the run is the Kansas City Chiefs. This is another reason why I think the Bengals have a better shot than the Niners. I think Joe Mixon runs the ball well. I think Joe Mixon gets going, and we've seen Zach Taylor. He switched and hibernated to kind of like an old school football in the playoffs, and he kind of needs to, when your quarterback's taking 9 sacks, when your offensive line is absolutely getting demolished and capsized on national TV, you have to run it. You have to get the big guys going forward. And I think the Bengals have a better matchup. I'm not saying the Rams are better than the Chiefs by any means, but when you look at the matchups, I feel like there's more advantages for Cincy than the Niners have against the Rams. Now, against the Rams, everyone's just counting on them choking. They're just saying Shanahan's a better coach than McVay, and then we're just forgetting about Jimmy G. We're forgetting about a secondary that isn't athletic. And just so everyone knows, in Los Angeles, it's not going to be 5 degrees. It's not going to be a tundra on that field. It's going to be perfect play conditions. Odell and Cooper Kupp will be able to make perfect cuts. And I'm just curious, is this 49er secondary going to rise to the occasion again? And it's not like I'm saying Cincy's secondary is going to stop Tyreek the Thrill Hill, Pat Mahomes. I'm not saying anything along those lines, but I like their chances just a little bit more. And we're looking at the San Fran defensive line. I think this is the strength of the team. When this Bosa brother, man, he's probably a top 15 player in the league if you take out quarterbacks. He really is. He's actually, I would say top 10 player. And we know how dominant he is. That's one area where the 49ers can hurt the Rams. We'll see if Whitworth's back. But either way, Whitworth's on that left side. Bosa rushes from the right side. I think the Rams with the run-pass balance, they'll have good run-pass balance, and they'll keep the 49ers defense off kilter. And one thing about the 49ers secondary that I keep saying every week, it's really unathletic and it's really slow. One thing you can't say about this Cincinnati Bengals defense is that they're slow. Yes, they got problems. Can you run it against them? Yeah, probably. Is their secondary the best at coverage? Absolutely not. But one thing this Cincinnati Bengals defense does, they fly to the ball. They tackle really well. They go for the strip. They're very, very aggressive. And can this Cincy D-line get healthy? I still think this Chiefs offensive line is vulnerable. And the Bills weren't the team to take advantage of it because really their only damn good defensive lineman is Ed Oliver. Obviously, the Bills aren't going to beat anyone up on the offensive line or defensive line, but I feel like they're more vulnerable. Like, for instance, we know Bosa, he's going to get pressures against Stafford. He's going to hit Stafford, and he's going to fluster him a little bit. But let me ask you guys, what other dogs are going to step up and hunt with him? Who's going to go in the pack smelling blood along with him? I think Stafford and McVay can weather that, especially if they use play action. And the main reason why I think the Bengals are more likely to upset the Chiefs than the Niners upsetting the Rams is because this kid Burrow, man. This kid Burrow is doing special stuff. He's not getting any help on the offensive line. He's not getting a hell of a lot of help from Zach Taylor. We know he's no genius at brainstorming and designing plays, but Joe Burrow's got something special. I don't necessarily know what to call it. Like, him and Jamar Chase is the exact example of Southern magic. And if you've never been in the South, if you've never been in the country and watched how this game is developed, watched how these young players develop, you won't understand the Southern magic. And the Bengals got magic working in their factor. I think they got more magic than the 49ers. And I think Jimmy G is a liability. Whenever you have him in the playoffs, you're limping in. Now, Arrowhead's a good home field advantage. We'll see what the Bengals can do in that situation. It's definitely a tougher place to play than the Titans. And for me, man, one thing that I do think the Rams are going to sell a lot of tickets to the 49ers fans. I think that's going to be more like a neutral college football playoff game, if you guys understand what I'm saying. So either way, man, I think the Rams make bigger plays, and I think the Bengals are going to play the Chiefs tougher than the 49ers play the Rams. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. The best gambling show on the internet. Hit the like button, subscribe.